All right, we're back. I didn't take the time to check and make sure I had plenty of room on the SD card before I started this big long video, so it cut off at number 8. So let's do number 8 again here. All right, number 8. We have f of n equals 3n to the third plus 1. Let's define f of 4. Okay, so that's going to be, anytime we see an n, we're going to replace it with a 4. So it's going to be 3 times 4 to the third plus 1. 4 to the third, well, 4 squared is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And then 64 times 3 is 192. And that's going to be plus 1. So that equals 193. I don't like the magnet there. I want to put the magnet up here. It's getting right in my wrist. All right, so that's number 8. Number 9. We have f of x equals -2 times 4 to the negative x. And we're asked to find f of 2. So anytime we see an x, we're going to replace it with a 2. So it's going to be -2 times 4 to the negative 2. Remember, you have a negative exponent. That's just going to move this term to the denominator. So this is going to equal -2 over 4 squared, which equals -2 over 4 squared is 16. We can divide top and bottom by 2 to get -1 over 8. All right, number 10. Number 10. We've got k of x equals -3 times 4 to the x plus 2. And we're asked to find k of 1. Okay, so we've got, it's going to be -3 times 4. Anytime we see an x, we're going to replace it with a 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, so it's going to be 4 to the third. 4 to the third, 4 squared is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So it's going to be -3 times 64, which is -192. Righto. Should really invest in an eraser. I'm going to use a lot of tissue. So which one was that? I just did number 10, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so number 11. We have f of n equals 2 to the 3n. We're supposed to find f of -1. So it's going to be 2 to the 3. Anytime we see an n, we're going to replace it with a -1. So it's going to be 2 to the 3 times -1, otherwise known as 3. Good grief. 2 to the 3 times -1 is -3. So that's going to equal 1 over 2 to the third, and 2 to the third is 8. So that's going to be 1 over 8. Number 12. G of t equals 2 to the -t minus 2. Now we're asked to find g of, where are we at? G of 2. I'm going to put a 2 through the G machine. Yo. All right, so we got 2 to the negative t. Well, negative t is going to be negative 2 minus 2, which is going to be 2. Well, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. So that's going to be 1 over 2 to the 4th. And 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So that's going to equal 1 over 16. Number 13. We've got f of n equals n squared minus 3n. Now we're asked to find f of an expression. So we're asked to find f of 3n. So we defined the f function to take whatever you put into it, square it, and then subtract 3 of it. So we're going to plug 3n into this function. So anytime we see an n, we're going to replace it with a 3n. So it's going to be 3n all squared minus 3 times quantity 3n. Now be careful. This isn't just 3n squared, it's 3n quantity squared. So both of these elements are going to be squared. If this was 3n squared, well, that's just a 3 by itself, and we're fine. But since we have the parentheses there, since we're taking 3n and squaring the whole thing, this exponent needs to be sent to both of these elements. So this is going to be 3 squared, or 9, and then n squared, minus, and then 3 times 3 is 9, and then the n comes down. So it's 9n squared minus 9n. This is an acceptable answer for where we are in algebra now. If you look ahead to factoring, we can actually pull out a 9n from this. So another answer, it would be 9n times n minus 1. You notice if you distribute this out, 9n times n is going to be 9n squared, and 9n times 1 times negative 1 is going to be negative 9n. So we'll get to factoring, but if you want to get fancy, you can actually factor out a 9n. Either one of these answers are going to be acceptable. All right, number 14. We have k of x equals x squared plus 4. We're going to find k of 2 plus x. Okay, so anytime we see an x, we're going to replace it with a 2 plus x. We're going to put 2 plus x through the k machine. So it's going to be 2 plus x, quantity squared, plus 4. I can't stress enough, as Mrs. Cagle would say, don't go for the fake. This is not 2 squared plus x squared. It's 2 plus x, quantity squared. We have to expand this and FOIL it. Again, this is not 2 squared plus x squared. You cannot distribute this exponent across addition or subtraction. So it's going to land at 2 plus x times 2 plus x. 2 plus x squared plus 4. Now we can distribute this out. Go first, outer, inner, last. 2 times 2 is 4. Outer is going to be 2x. Inner is going to be another 2x. And last is going to be an x squared. And don't forget the 4 up there. Okay, so let's do the highest order terms first. We've got x squared all by itself, so it's going to land at x squared. We can combine these terms, right? We have a 2x and a 2x for a total of 4x. And we have a 4 here and a 4 here to combine to get 8. So x squared plus 4x plus 8 is the final answer to number 14. Number 15. K of x equals x to the third plus 1. We're asked to find k of negative 2t. Now, you may find this kind of strange that it's throwing a t at us when we were dealing with x's before, but remember, k of x just means whatever we're given, we're going to put through the k function, whatever we're given, we're going to cube it and then add 1. So if we got a 1, we would take 1 to the third plus 1. If we got a car, we would take a car and cube it plus 1. So it'd be car cubed plus 1, whatever that means, right? So we can just easily take a negative 2t and cube it and add 1. Right? So we're not restricted there. We can use whatever variable we want. So it's going to be negative 2t all cubed plus 1. Okay, remember, it's negative 2t quantity cubed. Don't just write negative 2t to the third. It's going to be negative 2 to the third, which will be negative 8, and then t to the third. And then we have this plus 1 out in front there. Don't forget to cube both of these elements inside. And finally, number 16. Oop. Number 16. Let's celebrate by moving the magnets around. Let's put this one here. Let's put this one like right here. Okay, we have k of x equals x squared plus 5. We have to find k of x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to put x plus 3 through the k machine, which means to take x plus 3 and square it and then add 5. So it's going to be x plus 3 all squared plus 5. And again, this is not just x squared plus 3 squared. This is not x squared plus 3 squared. You must understand that. We're going to take x plus 3 and FOIL it out. X plus 3, expand it and FOIL it. X plus 3 times x plus 3. This is x plus 3 squared plus 5. Now remember, if we have a plus b quantity squared, if you remember from the last week, it's going to be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So I'm going to use that technique here. A squared will be x squared plus 2ab. 3 times x is 3x times 2 is 6x plus b squared, that's going to be 3 squared, or 9. And then I have plus 5 at the end here. The only thing that can be combined is 9 and the 5. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus 5 is 14. And we're done. Hope that went well for you. See you next time.